them talking on the phone banks. This area, this particular county, went for President Trump back in 2020, though the state, of course, went for President Biden. What are the issues you think they're going to want to be asking of these four if they get them on the phone bank?
Well, they're in Beaver County, Pennsylvania. You're correct. That's pretty good Trump country there, and Trump will win that county again. But what I think the Harris campaign is doing smartly is trying to cut the margins in those counties. Because if you look what happened in Pennsylvania from 2016 to 2020, Joe Biden cut down Donald Trump's margin in every county of Pennsylvania except one, Philadelphia, where actually Trump did marginally better, even though he lost big. So what they're trying to do here, the Democrats, they're trying to speak to people in Western Pennsylvania. Fracking is going to be an issue out there. And Kamala Harris needs to do some damage control on that issue because she came out in support of a ban of fracking, has since reversed her position. But that's something many voters will ask her about in that part of the state.
Yeah, that was 5 years ago when she first declared a candidacy for president, and she certainly has since retracted that and softened that message. But when it comes to this bus tour, it comes on the heels of Donald Trump's rally. That was in Wilkes-Barre yesterday, where he launched a series of personal attacks against Harris. Let's take a listen together to some of what he said. Here it is.
I said, who am I running against? Harris. I said, who the hell is Harris? She's a truly radical left lunatic. Her father was a Marxist economic professor. He was a Marxist. But I say that I am much better looking than her. I'm a better looking person than Kamala.
I mean, come on now. Are comments like these winning over anyone in Pennsylvania outside of his base?
No, these types of ad hominem attacks and insults are really not helping him. When he went out there and he questioned her race, is she Indian or is she black? Did she just turn black? I mean, I think he's doing enormous damage to himself because people are saying, he's bizarre. He's making idiotic, asinine statements. And really, when he should be talking about issues where she might be vulnerable on the border or on fracking or on inflation. But instead, he's personalizing this in a way that many people think that he's just, they just question his judgment and his fitness. The more he carries on like he's unhinged, the way he goes off on the governor of Georgia. He seems to be obsessed with looks. I mean, he tells us he's better looking than Kamala Harris. I mean, come on. I mean, this is really not helping him with anybody other than the hardest elements of his base.
And what's interesting is new polls show the vice president tied with Trump and in some cases leading him in the Keystone State. One of the biggest shifts, Charlie, is among women voters. Why is that? What are you hearing there?
Well, clearly, Republicans in Pennsylvania and throughout the nation are really struggling on women's reproductive health issues. This is an issue where Republicans are vulnerable. They don't know how to talk about this issue post-Roe. And believe me, I understand this. I served in the Congress, and I was the last member of the House Republican Conference to support abortion rights. I voted against the 20-week abortion ban, and I voted not to defund Planned Parenthood. And I had often said to my colleagues that, we're not on the right side of some of these issues. They dismissed it, but post-Roe, I think they realize it. And so Harris is much more articulate and better able to prosecute the case on women's reproductive health than was Joe Biden. So I think that might be partly why she's picking up a little bit. And plus, of course, she's a female candidate, and maybe some women are responding to that. So I think she's got a lot going for her. She's brought this energy and enthusiasm and money to the race that Joe Biden was unable to do. And now Donald Trump is kind of getting boring at his rallies, saying the same things over and over again. Same people go to those rallies. It's like a Grateful Dead concert. People, they just follow him. But it's not. So I think she's kind of got this big advantage right now with women and people of color who are all of a sudden enthused when they were not before under Joe Biden.
Yeah. Here's a couple other things you did. You were one of the first Republicans to endorse President Biden over Donald Trump back in 2020. You were then also, Charlie, one of the first to publicly ask Biden to step aside this year. What has been your overall reaction to Harris's candidacy, and will you endorse her? I remind our viewers, you were a Republican congressman.
Yeah, look, I'm doing work for an organization called Our Republican Legacy, and I am really looking beyond this election. I want to reform the Republican Party. I want the Republican Party to become a principles-based party once again, talking about things like fiscal responsibility, free markets, embracing allies, peace through strength. We want to talk about the Union and the Constitution, rule of law. We want to talk about all the things that, peaceful transfer of power. That's what we're about, and we want to draw a contrast to MAGA. So I'm not going to be voting for Donald Trump. I haven't made any endorsements in this race, but I'm not going to vote for Trump. And I'm part of that group of disillusioned or dispirited Republicans who want something better for the party. We're not getting that right now. And I fear that Donald Trump is once again going to take the party down with a defeat, just as he has in each of the elections since 2016.
So look, Charlie, quickly, Pennsylvania is a battleground state, both on the federal and local level. How do you think Harris's campaign affects the down ballot races there, especially the race for the 8th congressional district? That one is between Democrat incumbent Matt Cartwright, Republican challenger Rob Bresnahan. That one could help determine which party controls the House.
No question. There are a few competitive seats in Pennsylvania. Look, Joe Biden had become a bit of a drag on the on down ballot candidates. There's no question about it. Now that Harris is in the race, I think Democratic momentum is back up, so she won't be the same kind of drag. And you just mentioned that race where Matt Cartwright and Bresnahan are running. That's a seat that leans Republican, where Donald Trump won last time. The seat that I used to hold, the 7th district, is a pretty dead even district as well. That's another one to watch. The Scott Perry seat out near the Harrisburg area, that's another one to watch. So there are 3 potentially competitive seats. So right now, I would say the down ballot candidates on the Democratic side are breathing a sigh of relief that Biden is out and Harris is in. I don't think she's going to be a drag, but I don't think she's going to be able to pull any of them across the finish line either. The candidates will have to do that themselves with their own campaigns.
Okay. Charlie Dent, good to see you again. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. So for all of you, we heard them